Out DeMarco here. This is going to be your Sunday video report. Going to break down the Vikings 49ers game in just a moment and get to your free pick as well. You know, in regular season NFL action, rule of thumb as far as I'm concerned is in week 1 you play the favorites, in week 2 you gravitate toward the dogs. Well, the preseason so far here has turned out to be almost the exact same thing, because yesterday it was the day of the dog, but more importantly, if you had that magical crystal ball I always talk about and were simply able to pick the straight-up winners, guys, you made a fortune, because the straight-up winners yesterday went a perfect 11-0 versus the odds makers. They are now 28-3 ATS so far this preseason, just like a year ago when they were 56-3-4 versus the spread in preseason play. And last year, of course, regular season, preseason, right through the Super Bowl. In fact, 342 games, those straight-up winners covered at an 82% clip. So an 11-0 sweep for the straight-up winners versus the odds makers yesterday. 28-3 so far this preseason. And what did I say about the dogs? Well, yesterday, guys, the dogs went 8-3 versus the spread. The home favorites yesterday, 2-8 ATS. So updating you going into today's game between the Vikings and the 49ers, the underdogs now have a 17-14 edge so far here in exhibition play. And let's talk about the 49ers game against the Vikings today. Of course, everybody getting excited because Brett Favre is back. Listen, Brett Favre is supposed to play 2 series in this contest. And the starters are expected to play only 1 quarter for Minnesota today. And keep in mind, Brett Favre is not going to be with, or is going to be minus his favorite receiver, Sidney Rice, who is still out of action. Also, Percy Harvin out of action as well, and starting center John Sullivan as well. So, Vikings coming into this one a little beaten up. Favre is going to give away to Tarvaris Jackson, who is expected to play then into the 3rd quarter before he gives way to Sage Rosenfels. Now, last week in a 28-7 victory at St. Louis against the woeful Rams, it was really the defense getting the job done against St. Louis as they held the Rams to just 150 total yards in that contest. Jackson really wasn't much of a factor at all, 2 for 4 for 11 yards passing, but it was Rosenfels who really got the offense moving, just as he did in his years back playing for the Houston Texans. You know, they went out and got him before they got Favre, because they anticipated this guy making a drive to be, or competing to be, their starting quarterback. You know, in limited action, this guy always seemingly delivers. I mean, last week against the Rams, he had probably the best preseason performance of any quarterback so far through the first 2 weeks of play. 23 of 34 for 310 yards and 3 touchdowns against St. Louis in that 28-7 victory. Now, San Francisco also opened up with an easy win at Indianapolis last week, 37-17, but the final score is somewhat deceiving. Keep in mind, when Peyton Manning and the Colts' first-team offense was in there, 16 plays, they had a 10-0 lead before they departed. And then Manning's backup, the horrendous Curtis Painter, I mean, he really gave 49ers all their points last week with 3 interceptions and a botched turnover leading to points for them, and that's why they were able to win that game so handily, 37-17. The quarterback trifecta of Alex Smith, the starter, David Carr, and Nate Davis, the second-year pro out of Ball State, they were a combined 17 for 26 for 219 yards against the Colts last week. Now, Smith is going to play today, probably going to play most of the first half, but keep in mind, he's going to be minus his big 3 in terms of his offensive threats. Michael Crabtree out. Vernon Davis out, the starting tight end. Frank Gore out. So, I don't know what Alex Smith is going to be working with today, but it's not going to be a hell of a lot. Plus, keep this in mind. The 49ers are starting 2 rookie offensive linemen in this one at left guard and right tackle. They're 2 first-round draft picks. So, you've got to wonder how they're going to do with the Vikings defense. Of course, they love to get to the quarterbacks, even if they're only there for 1 quarter. That will certainly disrupt San Francisco's first-team offense. It's kind of a tough game because of the injury situations, because of the quarterback uncertainty. By the way, Alex Smith then is expected to give way to Nate Davis, who has struggled in camp but played once more very well last week against the Colts and had a tremendous preseason a year ago. Nate Davis is supposed to get, reportedly, the call for action second, right behind Smith, with David Carr then mopping up. tough game to go with. You know, it's minus Crabtree, minus Gore, minus Davis, and with the quarterbacks not really playing that well for the 49ers and the way the Vikings quarterbacks have played, I think Minnesota plus the points is the way to go. I'm not putting my money on it, however. You remember the last time these two met in regular season play, 27-24, the Vikings prevailing on that incredible Brett Favre 32-yard touchdown pass to Greg Lewis in the back of the end zone early last season with 2 seconds left. That was really the first sign last year that it was going to be that type of Cinderella season for Favre and the Vikings. As for your free pick today, I'm going to go over to baseball, and I'm going to take the Detroit Tigers on the run line, minus $1.25. Or $1.20, $1.25 really, over the Cleveland Indians. They have won 14 of their last 16 at Comerica Park against the Indians over the past couple of years. The Indians, meanwhile, in a 3-10 slump. They have really been limited in the series, losing the first 2 games to the Tigers, being held to just 2 runs and 7 total hits. Justin Verlander, 5-0 with a 2.87 earned run average in his last 7 starts against Cleveland. The Indians going with the rookie Gomez, who's making his 6th major league start. Now, he did beat the Tigers in his first start, but that was pitching at home when the Tigers really were in the midst of that horrendous stretch of ball after the All-Star break. Not that they're playing that much better today now, but at least they are playing home, have taken the first 2 games of the series. The only reason I didn't use Verlander and the Tigers as a pick to bet on today is despite the fact that he's 8-3 with a 2.78 earned run average and 12 home starts this year, I'm a little concerned that he did throw 114 pitches in 5 innings of work, giving up 3 runs and a loss to the Yankees in New York last week. So, once again, going with the Tigers on the run line, minus $1.20 to $1.25 is your free pick. Catch you later, guys, on Monday.